Hey guys, welcome back. Maverick here today with another episode of Shaman King. So, last episode, we finished the reveal of all of Yo's new powers, and of course his team's powers as well, but perhaps the most important thing beyond that is that Ren also realizes the amount of difference that currently is between him and Yo, right? And the rest of his team members as well. So, is Hao going to take advantage of this and maybe drive a wedge between them? Well, let's find out, right? Again, I don't think there's too many people here that are watching this for the first time. Probably most of you guys are like me, old fans of the series, but still, I do recall seeing a few comments saying that this is the first time watching. So I'll still keep spoilers relatively low here. And yeah, so speaking of which, what exactly? that's actually a good thing because I actually don't quite remember what's gonna happen in this episode. I believe we left off with Yo seeking out Zurg, and maybe they're gonna have a little talk or somewhat. I don't think it's really that important yet, though. But well, let's just get into it and find out. All right, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Has it though? The Shaman King doesn't really tell us the concept of time, to be honest, so it's hard to say. You know, for us, it's like just literally a few episodes ago that we saw this here. I mean, I think even easier would have been somebody following them when their match ended. Eh, what actually happens here? No, I mean not this scene. After it. Hmm. Anyways, if it wasn't obvious by now, Zerk is not supposed to be doing that and meeting with Yo. You know, I don't think that's too much of a spoiler considering what he said and how he's acting, right? You know, someone mentioned last episode whether or not people would be more receptive to this series um, if it had, fight animations on the level of, what was it? Demon Slayer, right? Kimetsu no Yaiba. But, that was never gonna happen. Shaman King, even in its manga form, wasn't exactly. I do think some of the scenes are really, really cool, but honestly, there aren't that many prolonged fights. Yeah, damn right, dude. You could have at least, said goodbye. Or, send mail or something. See, that's the good thing about Yo, right? He's not going to really, you know, interrogate him about what happens, even though, of course, he's dying. Even though, of course, he wants to know. See, that's where she usually is. Okay, I think the dialogue here is a little bit. I recall what happened here was that she asked him to join. Yeah, I think the dialogue wasn't exactly clear there. I wouldn't say he's completely unfazed. That's the first priority. Anna. Badass. Uh, I loved Yo in this scene. Oh, hey, it's the girls. Or the witches, I guess. I kind of forget. Yeah, I mean, they're just the flower girls. I think I always called them, like, myself, as, like, the Halloween girls. Or the Halloween, or the witch girls. Ah, okay, okay. This one. Yeah, this is really nice. I just realized after all these years that uh, Hal's teams are named after all the Terazawa teams, right? Like Flower, Star. I think there's a Moon one as well. I mean, it's literally not important here, but still. I mean, to be fair, yeah. She is kind of weird, though. Metatron. Angel names. Metatron is an angel name? Really? Okay. Directly. Oof. No chill at all. Yes, she did. Yeah. They're quite. This dude. Eh. So I mean, I think this story should be self-explanatory at this point. Honestly, all of X-Laws, especially later on, once you learn about them a bit more, they're really some solid characters. Except, of course, one person who I think should be quite clear at this point. Who I mean, honestly, what did you think you could do, Manta? Basically, he's toying with them, saying that, sorry, you guys will sacrifice for nothing. Yeah, he definitely knows how to play the mind games. When anybody asks this kind of question, your spidey senses should be tingling. No, honestly, I feel like Hal probably could go through it if he really wanted to. You can also call it the holy hand grenade. How many of you guys get that reference? I feel like that. Yeah, the pacing there could have been a little bit better as well, but oh well. I mean, he was dead either way. It was York. I mean, so much was obvious, right? He's literally the biggest antagonist. If he died to like some little hand grenade attack, that'd be way too out of the spot. Anyways, see you guys after this. Alright, so like I said, I don't quite remember like what happens exactly when, but once I get into the actual arc or episode, I will remember like what actually happened there. And this episode, well, I think one important thing actually to come out of this episode, and indeed what happened to me while I was reading these particular chapters, was I kind of also changed my perception on X-Laws as well, right? I've said before that I'm not really big on. I'm kind of like Yo in this respect. Right? I really hate those that always try to force their ideals on someone else, and they're kind of like, to put it in a way, they kind of have sticks up their ass, right? That kind of idiom, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, they are really quite clear. It's not even a case where they might be using the guise of justice to do something bad, maybe be hypercritical or something, or something. But actually, they truly believe in what they believe in, right? It's just the fact that they are very, very extreme in the ways that they do things, right? Hence the X, I guess you could say, the extremes, and all that. But as much as I disliked them, this episode and the chapters in particular did give them a much more human character, right? Because up to this point, we've mostly been dealing with Marco, and like I said, Marco is a total asshole, right? Let's not beat around the bush. He is that. But all the rest of them, you can clearly see, right? They are humanized. They are they do have they're, even though they of course subscribe to the same ideologies as all of the Exiles have, and we must defeat Hal no matter what. But you can kind of see like the sort of the like acting like decent characters, I think, is the best way I can describe it. Versus Marco, who's really kind of like that militaristic leader, militaristic instructor, and whatnot. We see him hitting Lazuric around, abusing him, and indeed, for a few of the scenes and whatnot, you do kind of feel like, is he actually being so close to Lazuric because he happens to be a pretty boy and whatnot? You guys can probably get what I'm implying here. But, beyond all that, though, you can't really fault, their dedication and their realness to the situation. Even though, of course, I think, on the other hand, I think all of us would probably agree that we know that this is not going to go anywhere from the very beginning, right? How can there be a situation where the biggest antagonist here just dies to some random characters here, right? Sorry to say, but that doesn't really happen. And once again, we are treated with just how far Hao's power is versus everybody else, right? And I do think some things need to be put into perspective here, right? The last time we actually had any measurement of the Fuyoku, right, of the spirit power was way long ago, like tens of episodes ago. Like 10,000 in power here, that is quite decent, all right? That is really not an insignificant number. But to how, like, consider it like this, right? If each of the X-Laws, they all have about this kind of 10,000 power, and then the Maiden we can consider to have, like, at least twice as strong as a normal X-Law, right? At the very least. Even with all of them together, Hao's basically like, it doesn't really matter at all, just come at me, right? Total confidence. And so that should give you guys also a perception on just how far away that his power is. And I do believe in the next few episodes, we will be... Actually, is that close or not? I can't quite remember, to be honest. It might be... Like I said, I can't really remember like all the specifics of what happens when, but we will learn of Hao's power in upcoming episodes, right? Although whether it's like 3 episodes, 5 episodes, or 10 episodes down the line, I can't quite remember, but we will reveal that in a short while later. But just from this particular episode, you can kind of see the power discrepancy there, and how really Hao is just heads and shoulders above all the competition. And so you might think, so, is this a foregone conclusion, right? How can you win? Well, that's where the fun part begins, right? Which, like I said, we will get into maybe further on down the line, but not right now, anyways. So yeah, that's it for this. And, what else, right? So, I think it's also interesting to really once again look at Yo's actions here, and to me he's just he always acts in the correct way. I feel like, for instance, the scene with Lazuric and all that, even though he can clearly see that Lazuric is probably not exactly being treated the most kindly by those in the X-Laws and whatnot, mostly the result of Marco, but still, Joe is not the type to probe and be inquisitive into his friends, right? His philosophy is always, if you do want to talk about it, if you do feel like it is a time and you want a friend to listen to you, I'm always there. But if you don't want to talk about it, fine. You know where to find me, right? And I love it. And it does go for different folks. Like, some people say you need to be more active in your care towards your friends and whatnot, but honestly, I personally subscribe to Yo's actions a lot more as well. I'm always here if you need me, but you gotta be the one to be active and reach out first, right? So we got that entire thing. His entire dialogue with the X-Laws as well, basically be like, okay, sure, fine, you guys want me, but I just don't like the way you guys are doing things, and having the actual power and skills to back it up. Full applause there for that particular scene. And then later on, you might think, so why is Yo not exactly intervening in this and whatnot? But don't forget, guys, Yo, even though he is much more of a laid back personality and whatnot, he's not the type to say, okay, I'm on the side of justice and killing is bad and so on and so forth. I mean, he believes that, but then again, he doesn't really think that it's his duty or it's part of his obligation to intervene in these kinds of killings and whatnot if they willingly walk into this and they willingly do this, right? For Yo, don't forget, guys, he does not want to change what other people believe in and what other people think. If they choose that path, that is not exactly what Yo is not going to stop you from trying to suicide to stop someone just because he believes killing and dying are negative things, right? Now, of course, he did get enraged here, mostly because of how Hao is making a mockery of the entire situation and whatnot. And also the fact that, he knows that no matter what the X-Laws do, they're never going to be able to do anything to Hao, even with this kind of kamikaze attack and whatnot. So he's more enraged in that kind of thing, because he knows firsthand just how powerful Hao is, so he thinks this is entirely pointless and whatnot. But I feel like there is still a distinction to be made there, which is quite important, right? Because we've seen time and time again, it's not that he's, he thinks he's on the side of justice, that, or, he wants to dispel righteousness and whatnot, or he wants to dispel evil, but just everybody has their own philosophy on life, and he's just merely there alongside the flow, right? But yeah, anyways, I think that's pretty much all we can talk about for this particular episode. I think next one we'll also get some review about House Power once again, maybe a little bit more. Oh, actually, speaking of which, is this... now I remember, yeah. He mentioned Asakura Hao in this, in this episode, right? Yo did. So I think this is the first time, the everybody else hears about Hao's full name. I don't think, it's been mentioned before, even though, of course, people already know Yo has some sort of connection to Hao, right? But anyways, I do believe if that's to be true, if I remember correctly, next episode we will get a little bit more into the history of Hao and why he is so damn powerful. So with that in mind, stay tuned for our next episode. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.